moving to New Junk City, the newest game mode, Flashpoint, to see who's able to break the stalemate and take the lead. And I'm excited. We talked about it, a little bit during the break, just off the air. It's a lot like Control in the terms of, you're playing over a neutral objective, but it's a lot quicker on Flashpoint, and those rotations can be so punishing if you don't work together as a team.
Yes. Yeah, so for those that don't know, in the green room, I was telling Jag about how much I don't like this map type. I feel like it's really difficult to work with, but then he really did bring up the interesting point, because I said, I don't like how it's so easy to kind of get lost and it takes forever to get from point to point. And then Jag highlighted how important those silent moments actually are and how punishing they can be for a team, either for their team or against them. So I actually am going to be keeping an extra close eye on that going into this matchup in particular, because last time we were here with the University of Hawaii, we got to watch Say drop a 5K on the Junkrat. Now, I don't think Say's bringing Junkrat out. I think Say's Junkrat is kind of a silly, fun choice when Hawaii's feeling confident. But I think William & Mary has shown them they've got to be bringing 100% absolute A game to the table. And another thing I want to say very quickly, Jag, just while I've got the moment, I was really harsh on William & Mary earlier. I was like, their team comp, I'm not loving it. I think they need to find a composition that's going to work well. And I've got to say, this one, I feel they have met my expectation. That is what I wanted. And I think even if something as crazy as Max on the tank has turned out to be incredibly beneficial for this team. Or Max on the support instead of tank, excuse me.
They are swapping things up. I think it's important to note is that they did give some Ryan looks earlier, and they didn't exactly work out when we saw it on Ruins. This time around, they're going to try it here on the arena, the first point of New Junk City. And University of Hawaii, they're committing to what they expect to be this mirror with the Sigma. It's not going to be that for this, at least, but I'm very intrigued for them. They went away from the Doomfist, which seemed to work really, really well, and I feel like Doomfist could work really well here, too, but they're just trying to play the Brawl. It's a different variation of Brawl, but they are not going back to their more Chaos comp that we saw earlier on.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I think the Doomfist could be very beneficial down the line, but instead we're going to be seeing the Doomfist slow a little bit down and go for something a little more defensive played. Whoa, double May wall! Whoa, double May wall! It's like a double rainbow. But XZD will find that first blood onto Akamai, taking a notable bit of damage off the table, which makes this a fundamental difference for University of Hawaii. Is Say on the May doesn't do a lot of damage, right? She's more for damage prevention, to create a little bit of space, to make things a little bit easier to slow people down. But when you slow them down and there's nobody to get the Elim, doesn't matter how much you've slowed them down, and I think Hawaii is kind of learning that the hard way. I'd really like to see Math Dealer lock in on something else. I want to see the Doomfist come out, and I think now that he's seen the team comp... Oh, okay.
The Rhine v. Rhine, the most... What is it? The most shad matchup you can possibly have. Yeah, Hottie would definitely like what he's seeing right here, but this is really interesting. Again, they're not playing into this counter matchup. They're not playing what we've expected from them. They are playing this crazy mirror matchup, and they will block the shadow, and they maybe even get the Rhine, but this is what happens in these neutral fights. Like, there's no objective, but they're still just going all at it.
Yeah, there is no objective available, and as William & Mary will get ready to tap over that 50% on the board, it's going to make it fundamental that Hawaii does shake things up a little bit. They come out a little bit faster, and they try to disrupt this because it's actually a lot. Oh, okay, hold on. Let's let this happen first, and I'll get into my statistics. River God and Naisu are going to be traded out. Nuklava has the beat, 1 HP, chooses to hold on to it, is confident that William & Mary can win this fight without it, but instead, they may have really wanted to use it. Here it is! In response to that Blizzard, Say actually gives their life for it. Banana Lumpia will drop the beat as well. Everybody gets to dance to a similar tune, and even that may not be enough to keep Hawaii up and running. I was going to say, you can't make 75% last fight because you actually capped the point notably faster in flashpoints. You want to stop it earlier.
Yeah, I don't know why I said there was no objective there. The point was still active. I thought for some reason it had been fully captured because that's just how fast Flashpoint is usually, but it was a good recontest by Hawaii. They only get 30%, but they do get a bunch of ultimates from William & Mary out at the end of the day. The big one, though, is that there will still be that Blizzard. It's going to be their artillery strike first, and this time the Shatter comes out from the other side.
Shatter comes out from the far side, and it is going to be Math Dealer finding a lot of value for the University of Hawaii. They're going to try to sneak a cap in. Banana Lumpia catching a bunch of damage out the gate, but lives to tell the tale. Rival critical, I mean, sub 50 HP for just a moment, going onto the defense, slowing it down. And Jag, we have seen this story a lot tonight, where a team will get 99, the other team will cap, and they have not been able to stabilize the final fight. They've lost the point every single time. Hopefully, that curse can be broken here with Hawaii, and they can start off this flashpoint strong.
See what can happen here, but the ultimate's not on the side of Hawaii. They're gonna run straight in, but Banana Lumpia, there it goes. The grenade through the Ant Matrix, a tail as old as time.
As a wise man once said, They really do be like that sometimes. And Rival just on the 3K of a lifetime here. Hawaii takes it up to nearly 99, and it is going to be William and Mary sneaking it out with a complete and total team kill off of stage number 1 here on New Junk City. The arena has been opened, and William and Mary has emerged victorious. Moving into the second point of this Flashpoint map. They're able to get there early. They can stabilize and try to take Hawaii out the gate.
And I think Hawaii is playing this mirror matchup a bit better than they played on King's Row.
Agreed.
I think the Ryan especially, because he actually, map dealer is trying to kind of upstage XCD, blocking the shatter, getting a shatter of their own. But, I mean, you could say, like, the positioning is not great. They just walk in and immediately get blown up.
They walk in and they get blown up. They're getting turned to scraps here on the Junkyard. University of Hawaii, they didn't even get to see this point as William and Mary have fully taken them out of the equation and completely shut down this team. RiverGod, just take the L, brother. You are stalling out of your mind. RiverGod will finally go down in Hawaii. They have to hand that one. I mean, they didn't even get to hand it over. It is ripped away from them.
I think you can see the advantage of William and Mary knowing this composition just a little bit better, knowing exactly where to play, where to use the May walls, where to cut everyone off from University of Hawaii. That's how they could walk in for free and play that neutral fight on the objective. But William and Mary didn't even let them get to it. And the alt bank looking pretty good. You got to be careful with your nuke wall. But other than that, I mean, they are in a great spot.
Yeah, Rival brings out an artillery strike. It will be a silent one, and William and Mary would love to take a 2-0 advantage, especially as Akamai has already gone down. Matthew, brother, where are you headed? XED makes it personal with that solo shatter. Garage doors open, nobody's home, and the University of Hawaii are being bullied away from this amplification matrix. I've got to say, William and Mary, I mean, they are playing with surgical precision right now, and it is terrifying.
We said before, they had to prove that they were still one of those top teams, one of those teams that we expect to contend with the best of the best. And that first map did not look like it, but ever since then, it's been all of them all the time. Now they are setting up for it. I'm assuming it's going to be an Ant Matrix, maybe even repositioned closer to the point. But you can see they are waiting for it. It's going to be the Blizzard, but it's going to be the Ant Matrix to counter.
Matrix there to counter from the Blizzard here, and it's going to be able to create a lot of space, but that Bastion Bomb will take XED off the table once more. And Jack, I cannot believe, well, now what you actually read the future, Jack. There's no point. There's nothing to fight here. And it's going to be incredible that William and Mary just sneak it out from Hawaii. The Ultimates did not make the space necessary. They were not able to emerge victorious at the end of it, and all of a sudden, things continue to be, it's just turning out all William and Mary tonight.
Turns out my brain was about 5 minutes ahead of
the
actual
early.
game. I don't know, I'm seeing the future or something, but you can see there, like, they were actually, like, not doing too bad, but Hawaii, they just gave up the objective. They never even got to contest it throughout that entire engagement. Now, William and Mary, 1 point away from 3-0ing this map, going up 2-1 in the series. Like, they are in great shape. They don't have the best alt bank comparison, but this Blizzard could be all they need here to win this one out.
Blizzard could be huge. The beat from Banana Lumpia is so early here. I'm not sure what the value of it was going to be, but as they all get into a bit of a cluster here in Ducks, can I call it a cluster duct, or am I going to lose my job? Okay, Rival into Akamai, safe finds another one, and XCD is going to go down. University of Hawaii, for the first time here, Jack, may actually have the opportunity to cap the point before William and Mary, and that's exactly the energy Hawaii needs. They are a very snowball-style team. If they can get in charge, they often stay there, but for now, they've been struggling to push William and Mary down far enough to put themselves in the lead.
I think Max gave them a little bit of a gift there, jumping down. Probably realized they weren't getting out of that one anyway.
Yeah.
But a bit of a stagger, and the time on Flashpoint just takes away so quickly, so much quicker than you ever would get on Control. It's really like 3 fights total between all the teams after it's captured, if you're lucky. So William and Mary, they're going to have to give up a little bit more time, give up probably about 50% before they actually get that re-engage going, and they might be walking straight into a Blizzard.
About to get real cold for our friends at William and Mary. XED is going to fall to the help of the Blizzard and Akamai's constant barrage of bullets closing the door. The tank is down. Matthew continues to take the space, and Hawaii, for the first time, is feeling dominant, Jack, in a very positive way. This team has found themselves playing a little bit slower, playing an aggressive defense, and trying to stabilize this point. They may take us to at least the fourth flashpoint.
They overextend.
Shatter!
They
Shatter! Whoa! It's nothing! It's nothing! He shatters nobody! XCD goes in, he gets hyper aggressive, and it is a silent ultimate out the gate. A devastating ult wasted for William and Mary. This is Hawaii's point to cap.
Oh, there still is time to recontest, though. They trade. Support for GPS. The Earth Shatter, though, from Math Dealer.
That's
might
toxic.
be too much, but it is going to be a Blizzard, so they have to abandon the point. This is go so back and forth, but I think it's going to be shut down finally after what looks like what could have been an amazing comeback on this third point. It's not meant to be Hawaii. They finally show some life here on New Junk City. And they are still alive. The reverse sweep could be possible here.
It is just around the corner constantly. It would actually be the first time I would ever have the opportunity to go all the way to the 5th flashpoint of a map, and I would be honored for it to happen with two of my, don't tell anyone else I said this, favorite teams in the EGFC. I mean, this would be a miracle banger matchup, to say the very least, Jag, and I'm hopeful that we get that level of performance as these teams need to refine their play styles in the refinery, which could possibly be the final stage of this flashpoint map. William and Mary, they are one away from a victory, but Hawaii might be able to take us to that 5th and final stage. XCD goes in, XC deep, gonna get counterpinned out by Math Dealer, and the beat from Banana Olympia is early, but it's exactly what Hawaii needs to stay on top of things. They want that elimination. Nobody's got an immortality field. All damage is essentially permanent from here on out, and it's a late blizzard from Say opens the door. It might shut that same door on William and Mary. Rival is gone. XCD is back in the spawn, and all of a sudden, William and Mary has to say goodbye to this refinery stage. Hawaii, oh my god, 35?
Yeah, that's just how quick it goes, right? That's just like
oh
literally.
My god!
Yeah, flashpoint points are ridiculous of how quickly you get. Like it's like literally you win one fight. If you capture the point before the first fight ends, you've basically gotten half of the objective already. William and Mary, they're still trying to find a way, and it seems like they're struggling on these closer in case points, which is actually going to be an advantage to them later on because the last point won't be this close quarters.
Right.
But I think the biggest thing for them here is they got to force out ultimates. I was going to say don't use any, but they want to fight this. They want to try to not go to that last objective.
Oh no, River God!
And it looks like River God will be able to live to fight at least for the rest of this engagement.
Oh, a danger close encounter with that artillery strike. The Maywall up from Say to force William and Mary to go underneath the point, pushing them into a small corridor like this. Oh, XED almost goes down, and artillery in the open from Akamai, but it's almost a scare tactic more than it is anything else. They want to keep the pressure building. They want to keep the team nervous, and they want to take us all the way to the 5th and final flashpoint. My goodness, what a banger series to end the day on. I'm having a phenomenal time, and we're only on map 3 of what might be 5 at this point, but here we go to the 5th and final stage, Jack.
Hell, let's make it 6 maps. Just
let's go all the way. Why not? Why not?
Circle Royal. You know, I don't. It's very unlikely, but why not? But yeah, this is going to be the last one. As I was saying before, though, this one's a lot more out in the open, which I think has been more in favor of William and Mary. What also is in favor of William and Mary is that they have the ult advantage, at least for the time being. I'd love to see them trying to make a move before that sound barrier is online for Banana Olympia, or just take them offline. But no, Say's going to be the one who strikes first.
Oh, it is going to be a flat-worthy shatter here in the old bomb flats from Math Dealer as well, but they get a little overzealous, and now a counter shatter will be silent. A wall up, a beat out. Banana Olympia encouraging the team to dance as loud and as quickly as William and Mary does with Nuklama's beat in that back pocket. That is, what, 4 ultimates down the drain? 5? No, it's 4. 2 shatters, 2 beats, and somehow Hawaii's still going to emerge victorious off the back of it.
They're missing their Rhino. This is the time. They're missing their Lucifer too. They have to back off, but they're able to stabilize at least long enough to avoid the capture. The Blizzard now
XCD!
XCD is in a world of hurt.
XCD is XC down right now. That Ryan is out of here. The rest of William and Mary has to join him back in spawn. And while things felt close, things felt possible, I've got to say, I mean, William and Mary have just been getting throttled by the University of Hawaii at this point. They have turned on the boosters here.
Even though the alt pick is better for William and Mary, they just haven't had a chance to really use them. University of Hawaii, they are just rotating them. They get one ult, Q, win fight, use the next one. So they are playing this just to perfection, which is what they needed if they were going to reverse sweep this map. And now they are less than about 30% away from doing it. This would be a huge statement.
This could be incredible. A reverse sweep
down
from the University of Hawaii, and Jag, it's all but over here. Akamai finds a 2K, but that would cancel out early by Max for the win here. The DPS, the supportal combat I've been yearning for from the in-house tank player of William and Mary may finally be emerging worthwhile. A boop out from Banana Lumpia forces them out into the open, and they give their lives for the cause. Hawaii 99%, and that's when they might have to flip it back. Say puts down Nuklama, putting the pressure out onto this tank as well, onto Rival, excuse me. XCD is back. River God is down. Math Dealer has returned, and Rival just can't move fast enough. The Math Dealer wall is going to help keep XCD boxed in a blizzard to boot. Say gives their life for it, Jag. This is Math Dealer desperate to try and clear the point, and they have not been able to. Akamai finds XCD. Round 3 of Hawaii is back. They're coming in waves at this point. Desperate to keep this up and running, and Math Dealer's shatter is... Never mind, I can't say that. Is completely taken out of the equation. Akamai, no way, Max! Oh my god! In that one fight, Max got 5 eliminations on Baptiste.
Max for the win indeed. And I think a big part of that was even though Rival ended up falling before that fight ended up like actually ending, the fact that they had a Bastion and University of Hawaii didn't was
Yep.
the big difference maker. They were doing so much more damage overall and it allowed them to stall and allowed the support to stay alive because they weren't the focus. The Bastion is always going to be the focus. And some miracle has allowed William & Mary to get back into the swing of things, but they need to make sure they do not bungle this.
They've got to play unbelievably carefully. You're 99% of the way there, but it's that little bit that goes a long, long way if you don't play your cards right. And William & Mary is trying to steal the cards right out of their hands. Matthew goes down the Rival 3K, forcing Hawaii to recontest. Jag, they've got a beat, and that's it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beat on both sides, but you can see XCD and as well as the May almost near their ultimates. William & Mary, it's looking all in their favor, and actually we're going to see a late swap. So the Sojourn coming out in this last fight, no more Bastion. That could be the difference maker, but is it going to be for the best?
Going for a very late swap like this could be detrimental. Banana Lumpia overextends just a bit. Nisu getting ready to freeze Hawaii out of this. And XCD's Shatter was eaten by the Blizzard. The second canceled Shatter that we've seen up to this point. And William & Mary has done it. They have flipped the script here of this matchup. They almost get reverse swept. And in the final pivotal moments, they turn things around. They find a victory. And they walk away with a second map win under their belt. They are one Circuit Royale away from emerging victorious here tonight.
Now, let's just forget about the first map. These last two maps have been absolutely insane. Just back and forth, and you thought for sure Hawaii has this in the bag, but by some willpower, some tenacity that William & Mary had to make sure they did not get reverse swept here on this map, for them to be able to take the lead for the first time in the series. Again, we got to give a lot of credit to Max, like that support play on the Baptiste, staying alive, keeping the rest of their team alive long enough for everyone else to get back. Some incredible individual skill that helped keep William & Mary afloat. And we had some doubts about them at the beginning of this broadcast, at the beginning of this match, about whether or not they could reach those old heights or whether or not they were slipping from that top placement that they used to have. They are battling here today. Regardless of the result, I think they have shown quite a bit of growth here from at least the beginning of the season earlier on a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, this is fundamental in a lot of ways for William & Mary. I was actually looking for my William & Mary jersey, which is somewhere in my very messy office, and I'm not going to get up to go look for it, but I would if I could. I've got to say, I have only known Max as a tank player. That is something that I have that's what he's known for. He's the loudest Ryan in the EGFC. I mean, the kid is a maniac. And when he told me last week outside the interview, he said, yeah, we're looking at a couple of different things. We're looking to possibly look into, me playing support and XCD ending up on the tank. I was really fascinated about that. I didn't love the idea, but I've clearly been proven wrong that William & Mary know what they're doing. They're playing strong. They are playing tooth and nail, and they're showing that while things may have changed, they are still one of the best teams in the EGFC. And if they can 3-1 Hawaii, that's the best way to prove that. Because I'll say it, Jack, if you take Hawaii to Caliseo, it'll be a miracle to beat them. They are phenomenal at that map.
And I gotta say, I don't think this role swap is as crazy as it looks on paper. I think when you really break it down and think about it, support is a lot of communication. And obviously, if you play Baptiste, aim is important, and I think a lot of people are like, oh, tank aim, haha. But clearly, Max just proved that he's pretty good at aiming with all those eliminations that he got. But also, you have to be thinking about things all the time. Usually, the tank is the person who's calling the shots during the fight, but the support is the one calling them before and after. So you're continuing what you're used to do as a tank and bringing it to the support role. You're keeping that comm structure afloat, and you can see with some of these crazy rotations that they're doing, some of these crazy plays they're going for, they don't always work, but they're all on the same page. So I think this change has actually worked out in their favor overall. But we got to move on to Circuit Royal. I do know for a fact that it's going to be Hawaii on the attack. Thank you to our producer for letting us know. And it's just like we saw in Kings Row. If you're choosing attack, you were calling your shot because you were setting the win con not only for yourself, but also for your opponent. So again, what is going to be thrown out here? Usually Circuit Royal in the past has been a lot of Sigma, a lot of Poke, but I'd love to see the Doomfist again. The Ryan did look better than the Sigma overall, I would say, on New Junk City, but the Doomfist look that we saw in Ilios was the best we've seen in Hawaii today.
Undoubtedly so. I could not agree with that more. And we are going to go ahead and actually throw it to another break here. The players need a little bit of time to discuss what they'd like to do at this moment. They'd like to discuss what they're going to do going into this fourth map because everybody wants to walk away with the win. This is the closest EGF series I have seen all season, and I am eating it up. I hope you guys are as well. We'll be right back here with map number 4 in just a couple of minutes. I am having the time of my life, Jag. How are you doing?
You know, I'm also on cloud nine, metaphorically and literally.
And literally.
So we're all having a good time here. But yeah, this has been an absolute great series. Again, like, I think coming into this, seeing past results, setting expectations, you know, we were thinking, you know, maybe William and Mary put up a fight, but Hawaii probably have the edge in this one. Throw that out the window, throw out all expectations, because William and Mary have absolutely shown up and they have shown out. They are up 2-1 in this series. They could put it away right here on Casino Royale in just a few moments. I think the scary thing, as you had mentioned before, is that if Hawaii is able to pull this off, Coliseum is looking most likely like it would go their way. So William and Mary, they've got to give us a really nice showing here to be able to get what I would consider an upset.
Yeah.
For them, it's a bit of a flip script because William and Mary are going to be on the defense this time around. Hawaii, they picked attack. And I said it before, I was expecting a bit of a poke comp. That's what we're seeing from Hawaii, at least so far. You know, they're on a tactic of swap, but it's going to be the brawl once again, it looks like, for William and Mary.
This is so interesting, Jack, to go for this brawl from William and Mary. But I guess, I mean, the oldest saying in the book of classic sayings, if it ain't broke, right? I mean, it's very much working well, but I think this is a very open map. And I think when you're just, you remove the DPS and the supports, Sigma kicks the crap out of Ryan here. And that's my biggest concern, because it's just the distance and the spacing that Matthew can really abuse. So XCD has to play very, very carefully, very cautiously, if you will, try and make this work.
If you can close the distance, it works. But if you give them too much space, that's where, like, you can see, like, they're playing so much closer than you usually would on this map. They're actually going to kick out this Widowmaker a little bit. Okay, that's a close call. But you can see, like, they are putting the pressure in early. They are not giving that space. And that's how William and Mary would win this one out.
Yeah, and I do want to say, this is the first time I've ever seen Lizals from the University of Hawaii. So they're bringing in a substitute for a possibly game-deciding map. This is a really interesting choice, but it seems to be working. Maybe I shouldn't say sub. Maybe it's a Widow specialist, and this is just kind of the only map you get to do that on these days. But all things considered, I think that's a really interesting choice.
Yeah, pour one out for the poor sniper players, the Hanzos, the Ashes, the Widowmakers that we barely get to see anymore because everyone says, nah, play Sojourn. Nah, play Bastion. But I mean, there was a lot of tension put onto this Widowmaker, and even though they didn't end up really giving the elimination, it forced William and Mary a little bit too far forward, which gives a lot of push for Hawaii. You're going to see the re-engagement, but there it is. Lizal's now going to be finding that first elim.
Lizals takes that nuke llama offline, gets it pretty critical. No way off the map. There he goes.
There it is.
Math dealer down and out, but XZD actually goes down for it. So I would consider this an advantage for University of Hawaii as Lizals found that elimination early onto nuke llama. We're looking at a 4v3 in favor of University of Hawaii. And the first point cap, if anyone was touching Jag, they have it, but nobody's on the cart.
I believe there's a Mei. I'm pretty sure that their Mei is like right there. You can see like they're stalling. They use the ice block. They use the wall. You gotta be careful because of that Widow, but they stole out long enough. So this is actually gonna be a re-get test from William and Mary. So well played by this Mei to buy it enough time.
Mei buys a lot of time, and all of a sudden, ooh, Akamai cleaning up where Lizals just isn't able to find that space out the gate. Looking for an opportunity to strike, but unfortunately not getting the outward value that we're anticipating from that Widowmaker, as we did earlier today. Banana Lumpia finds Nisu at a pretty staggering moment, and with 2 minutes remaining, they bump themselves up to 4:30 on the clock. Hawaii capping that first point, already something crazier than normal on a map like Circuit Royale.
Usually you want the high ground. I mean, especially if it's an offender for William and Mary, but not of this comp. So you saw them play a little bit farther back. They got to play on the cart. They got to play basically like in range of that Sigma breathing on them. They have to feel whatever they like the Sigma ate for breakfast like on their face at all times, but they're just playing a little bit too passive to make this stuff work. But that's gonna be a nice catch.
Just obliterated. Rival takes Lizals out of the air. Max for the win is going to be able to find a bullet to the brain as well. Overclock out, supports down. In University of Hawaii, where they lose one player, they're able to take out 2 elims of their own. Shatter into Blizzard. Rival's bomb catches Akamai. I love Rival, but what a dumb ability. I hate that ability. Rival finds River God as well. Mathuler takes XCG out of the equation, and it is a sloppy matchup here, Jag. Nobody's quite sure who is going to be that final elimination, but University of Hawaii gets stalled in their tracks once more.
At that time, I think the high ground actually worked to their advantage a bit. They were able to kind of play behind natural cover, and then once they got that initial pick onto the Widowmaker, one of the biggest threats, they were able to run in. It is a bit expensive. You know, they use the Shatter, the Blizzard, the Am Matrix, and there isn't... they get a lot out on the other side, too, so I get worthwhile trade, but They're gonna use artillery strike right off the bat, and
Oh.
it does get one at least.
Why are you up that far, Liz? Why at all? Why are you up that far? Banana Lumpia does go down. XCD eliminated. I think that encourages the flex. The tank is gone, right? You might as well try to send it. You get the sound barrier out. Nuklema dropping probably his most questionable, might I say, beat of the evening, but it does keep him alive, and I think that was their kind of win con, keep our Lucio up and running if we're able, and they were, albeit just barely, but still able regardless.
I think it's a big win for Hawaii to get out what was the most impactful defensive vault from William and Mary for 3. I mean, they were winning that fight anyway. So that's a big win for them, and now they're getting utility out. They get the May wall out, the ice block too. I mean, this is looking good for Hawaii, but they actually have to do enough damage to win this out.
They have to do enough damage to try and win things out, and that's a big ask at this point, Jag. I want to see Immortality Field going down. I want to see a little bit of space here from University of Hawaii, but they've not been able to win post-Ultimates. That's really been their struggle up to this point in time. Nisu goes down. William and Mary losing that May makes this a lot easier. Oh, just kidding. Haha, just kidding. 3 picks. University of Hawaii gets taken down. River God found Nuke Llama. My goodness. And I don't know, Jack. I mean, brother, what is going on? How is it Hawaii always gets the first pick and they've lost every fight?
It's a Bastion diff. Like, literally, the Bastion just does so much more damage than anyone can on the other side. That's going to be a nice little pin off the side. But even with, like, the Widowmaker, like, you're going for these, like, you have those headshots to go for the squishy characters. You can't melt anyone with a Widowmaker. Again, Sojourn's kind of the same. Like, you can go for a few pod shots for primary fire if you're looking for those railgun headshots most of the time. But on the other side, you are just pouring out damage with the Bastion. Even with, like, the Baptiste, the Lucio, the May. I mean, May isn't known for, like, a lot of damage, but if she's just going... I mean, she got the all-fire, but mostly she's using her primary fire. Like, she's just melting people down. So it's kind of the idea of, like, burst damage versus just, like, spam damage. And right now, the burst damage is winning out.
I know that Liz is a Widow specialist, but I gotta say, I want to see something else. I feel like we're not getting a lot of value on the Widowmaker right now, and I think it's really difficult for Hawaii to take this corner because Liz hasn't gotten an elim in like 3 fights. I mean, it's been pretty brutal, and maybe I'm being pretty harsh in this analysis, but I don't mind if I'm telling the truth. Liz goes down again, elimination list, and University of Hawaii should be able to sneak out this victory. And Matrix really far forward. Max getting maybe a little overzealous there, some might say. Okay, speaking of overzealous, I'm not even sure what the win condition there was. You get a big shatter and then die when they get up?
Maybe you get the squishy characters, you know, you can go for that big, like, wide swing and you hit more than one, but instead you just kind of, you're giving up a lot here, actually. You're giving up states, you're giving up time, you're using ultimates. Rival does get a kill, but the cart continues to move.
Cart just keeps moving forward. 2 minutes on the clock. Capping third point at all is mathematically amazing. We don't see teams get the chance to do that very often. Nuke Llama?
Could win. Right. I mean, maybe they win this one out with the extra shield, but the Ryan is so weak. Yeah, there are some, unfortunately, questionable beats the last few engagements. I feel like these beats aren't being used for the most important things. Like, they're trying to use it as either... The first time they used it when they already won the fight, and that was just a bonus win for Hawaii after they lost it themselves. Yeah. That time around, I feel like they were trying to force a fight win that really wasn't possible. And, I mean, sure, there's not a grid to flex on for, like, a bit, but, I mean, you could use it as a way to counter the overclock, just to make sure that no one ends up getting their head popped. The pulse bomb, if your mortality field isn't up, to make sure that no one falls from that either. So, just a few miscalculations there from the side of William and Mary, and now they're trying to go for a really cheeky rotation all the way around, but this cart is just moving continuously throughout all of this. Yeah, this cart be schmoving right now, just getting so much free space. We're approaching the last corner. XCD, what are you doing? How are you back here? What are you doing? What the heck? Nisu goes down to River Guard. The left pin in, does not catch the overclock. Down to 200 HP, scratch that 0. XCD caught out of position. Nuclear, the head off the shoulders. Haircut comes a little too close. And that, nope. Who cares? Clearly William and Mary doesn't, because that was, Jack, I have a lot of things to say. I have a lot of things to say. This was interesting. What's the opposite of a masterclass? I feel like that's what I just watched. It felt like they actually had a big edge on that second point until they didn't. It seems like they lose that one fight and it all falls apart.
It all fell apart.
Their ult usage, their rotations, their positioning, none of it was where it should have been. This was the panic that we saw on Ilios. It feels like it's coming back out once again. And we talked about this, you know, this roster being mostly new compared to what we've seen in the yesteryears of EGFC. Yeah. You know, it's besides Max and Nuklama, that support lineup now. Everyone else really is like a newer player, so some of that inexperience or maybe some of that nervousness catching up with them, because I like the idea of out-rotating them and kind of going for these crazy plays, but not if that cart is just moving the entire time. No one, I mean, like, once it got around that last bend, it was not touched the entirety
Yeah.
of its
No,
existence.
seriously.
And I mean, it really is painful when you're in that position because you can see, like, just kind of some of the disorientation or some of the
Yep.
mismanagement of what they're trying to do. And now they have to kind of find a way to regroup. It's not a big time bank that they gave to Hawaii. So the good news is, like, if they have a good attack, there's still plenty of chances for them to force overtime, potentially have a better time bank.
Sure.
But it's not just how, it's not like the fact that they like gave it up, it's how they gave it up that's really concerning. That was, I mean,
Yes.
this comp has to be a well-oiled machine. That was the opposite of that. That was something that needed to go to a mechanic.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better, Jack. I mean, that truly, there was a lot of miscalculation and misanalysis from William and Mary that cost them a critical amount of free space moving into the rest of that matchup. But unfortunately, I'm not sure we're going to be getting a positive play back from them unless they're able to play an insanely aggressive offense here. I think University of Hawaii's team comp lends itself a lot better to the defense of this whole scenario and of this whole circumstance. So I will be keeping a very close eye on it to see if William and Mary gets some victory here. Taking Liz out of the equation, not a huge deal. It's just the Widowmaker. She'll be right back. But one more could be pretty valuable, especially as the cart is not, okay, is now moving, but a minute is already off the clock. So I want to see the pickup a little bit.
I wish there was a Symmetra. We're going to see Liz swap to the Hans instead of the Widowmaker. I think this could do a lot more shield break potentially,
Yes,
which would be nice.
finally.
But I really would love to see on the other side a Symmetra, because the whole idea of the Ryan comp is like you need to run into them, and if you get the Symmetra teleporter that lets you just get around the map, you can catch everyone off guard, you can take high ground, which Hawaii is going to be able to possess for free most of the time. They're not going for that right now. They're still trying to go for that May Bastion comp. They're using Ambition. It's so far forward, though.
It is very far forward, very aggressive, and XED just does not care. Just genuinely, just a don't care. Don't care. Drops a 3K, double fire strike kill, and William and Mary, I'm getting flashbacks to Kings Row. They are just steamrolling right now.
Yeah, this is the well-oiled machine we needed to see from them. They have gone to the mechanic. Mechanic has given them the all clear. They're actually running better. Yeah, it's even better than they were running before. And I gotta say, the fire strike through the Ant Matrix always makes my heart like warm a little bit. We see the grenade because that, like, you know, actually like is attracted to the enemy. It also can like reflect or like bounce off.
Yeah.
The fire strike is all aim, and that one was just beautiful. But they gotta keep this going.
Whoa!
And they're gonna be running right into the Gravitic Flux.
We getting angry with the Gravitic Flux right now. Just going, no way, dude! We are getting the most personal ultimates I have seen in ages. People are just cleaning a house on one another. Akamai does get an elimination. I really love watching people play Zenyatta. I think it's so fun. Max goes down. They're getting bullied into the back line. Liz gets their first elim in quite a while, unfortunately, but truly a believer. Better late than never. Liz puts down Nisu, and Hawaii stalls it out for just a moment.
And I really do like the Hanzo swap. I think the Dragon
It's
Strike
much better.
Well, I think the Dragon Strike itself is like, like it can be like just like for space, for zoning. It could be combo to the Gravitic Flux to help finish off its eliminations. But the main thing is you have so much more spam damage. The recon bolt can be huge because you can find out where everyone is, especially because William and Mary is playing like a death ball. They're all together. We're gonna have a pause for a moment, so we have a little bit more time to talk about this as looks like we had a monitor, unfortunately, go offline for just a moment, so hopefully we can get that back up and running.
Terrible timing.
Yeah, I guess it was not the worst because at least the fight wasn't happening. But you know, we talked about momentum and how this pause could affect it. It seemed like William and Mary had a lot going for them. This Hanzo swap actually might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. It seems like it's going to be a lot harder to run into because there's these arrows. They're flying, especially when you're able to use your ability that lets you use so many more at just a quicker pace. Like, it can be difficult to deal with that.
And also the phrase Hanzo moment, like, that's a very real thing. Sometimes Hanzos aren't even aiming for you, and you get your head taken off, and it's like the most frustrating thing. So it's always very possible, very intentional, maybe unintentional, when a Hanzo pops off in a moment like this. And I'll be keeping a very close eye, Jag, on the performance of what we're seeing from the rest of the University of Hawaii, especially as soon as we unpause, they pretty much just got deleted. Huge pin into the backline from XZD. River God has fallen. 3 minutes left on the clock. Akamai will go down, and William and Mary should get second point cap here. Even if they don't get it for free off of this play alone, it's just going to be a stagger.
I really liked the attempt there from Liz to try to throw in the Dragon Strike to catch everyone off from the Blizzard because their tank was there, but it wasn't enough, unfortunately, to stop that elimination from coming through, and I don't know if there's going to be anything that's going to be enough to stop this capture from coming through. right now the time bank is just so crazily in favor of William & Mary. They are steamrolling, and you said it yourself.
That was the fastest fight I've ever
but
seen.
you said yourself before that the comp that Hawaii was running would work a lot better on defense. I agreed. On paper, they just play the high ground. But William & Mary, even without the Symmetra, they are just running into Hawaii, and Hawaii does not have an answer. I thought the Hanzo might be that answer, and it has been helpful here and there. I'd say definitely it's better than the Widowmaker, to say the least, at least.
Sure.
But beyond that, like, it's still not enough.
Swap on a Junkrat, bro. Shut your brain off and just start spamming. Wait a minute. Sang is gone! I'm just realizing this! Absolutely devastating. That makes so much sense. I don't know why my boy's not in here on the Junkrat, but I gotta say, Liz is really struggling. The Hanzo has not been able to find value off these corners, has not been able to play to the level of aggression that I think he really wants to, and it's cost him quite a few things. Almost gets to pick on an XCD, but none of those arrows were headshots to the line. Will live a little bit longer. Hello? Hello?
That's a ping moment.
That was some bot energy, bro. That was crazy.
I think that's the ping diff, because I mean, again, they're playing from Hawaii, not mainland, very far away from William & Mary. I'm sure the ping is.
Actually, this is almost as far apart. Actually, this may be the furthest apart two teams could get.
It is West server, so that actually should help them a bit. But you know, I'm just gonna say it's ping because unfortunately that was difficult to watch. It's one of those moments where it's like the Hanzo should hit those, does not, and now this cart continues to move.
Yeah, that was a bit of a tough moment. You jump out of the immortality field, and it may end up costing you, but you played the barriers correctly, you used the architecture of the map, and it all worthwhile at the end of the day. Dragon Strike went somewhere, I don't know, Smile, and now it is going to be University of Hawaii. A lot of ultimates in their pocket, but William & Mary, 2.5 minutes to only move 20 meters. So that's one fight win.
That was a good Dragon Strike. I think both the Dragon Strikes we've seen actually are pretty good. Last time they tried to cut off the Blizzard, so they kept their tank alive. This time, they throw it right into XCD, and even though they don't get the final blow, that Reinhardt falls so low, the rest of the team can follow it up. So it's not a complete fight win, it's not a complete fight wipe where they can build up ultimates, but it's killing time off the clock. They already know they have 30 seconds left, so you were trying to get the other side as close to that as possible, if not a full hold entirely. You can see now a rotation from William & Mary. They're going to try to take this fight upstairs. But yeah, I would love to see them actually just go straight to the point, but instead they want to keep this going, but their own wall cuts them off from the Ant Matrix.
That was insane. That was insane. I've never seen a fight out here, and now I'm realizing why, because holy crap, what a blood pool, perhaps. Not a bloodbath, because there's a swimming pool. River God nonchalantly drops 3, but Olympia finds one of their own, and okay, that's 4. I believe I believe that was a support team kill from the side of the University of Hawaii, so a very impressive performance through and through, but one that just leaves me wanting more, Jag. That's just the nicest way I can think to say that.
I think they put the wall up there because they heard the other Ant Matrix come up. So it was just like...
It was a panic, it was an instinct, yeah.
Yeah, like you're just like, oh god, I need to put this up right away so my team doesn't get melted. But in the instance, you're actually stopping your team from doing the same amount of damage. So a bit unlucky, but William & Mary once again will try to take the card. They only have a minute left of that, so they don't have that much time to work with. They really need to make something happen.
Not a lot of space on the board at all. Only 60 seconds. They've got a shatter and a beat. Davidic Flux puts him up. The beat comes out from Nuklama, trying to keep the team long enough alive to hit the chorus. Another shatter to nothing from XCD. That is a very unfortunate circumstance to be in. Overclock is going to get overblocked by the main wall, keeping University of Hawaii on the edge of their seat. And now 40 seconds away. No ultimates on the board here, Jag. Maybe a Dragons if Liz can hit these shots.
The good news, you got the Transcendence out, so there's no major defensive ultimate from Hawaii. It's a dry fight through and through, except there is actually going to be DPS ultimates up on both sides. And just the Dragon Strike, they know where they are. If they're able to get a Sonic Arrow that can refuel, I mean, if they go through this room right now, that could actually be huge. It could cut everyone off, if not find an Elim right out. They're going to throw it finally.
Early.
But it doesn't get anything. It does cut off the team, though. You can see the tank is so far away, but the follow-up it's all onto the Mei. But it's not. It's going to be Liz that falls instead.
Wait, no way. No way, Matthew goes down as well. It's going to be a 3v5 in favor of William & Mary. Things were working so well. Wait, okay, somebody's got to be on the wagon right now. The payload has to be moving. Artillery Strike finds the BAP, and this is the beginning of the end. Jag Hawaii did everything right, but in the final moments, they completely flounder. They fall apart. Akamai gets maxed, and it's going to be a little bit of space, but the Blizzard goes out. Matthew gets frozen. Liz gets obliterated, and that is William & Mary sneaking out a victory from the jaws of defeat. That was going to be a map 5. Oh, and we are jumping into overtime. Hawaii was so close to an overtime, and William & Mary refuses to go down. Not an overtime, a map 5, excuse me. And William & Mary refuses to go down all the way into an overtime.
I'm not sure if Hawaii realized the gift they had with that Dragon Strike into the health pack room. If they had just gone for it, you know, I usually say, you know, don't ignore the cart, but in this case, ignore the objective. Go for those eliminations first, because you've already full capped. So as long as they don't full cap, it doesn't matter how far it gets. So they only half commit to it. Liz goes a little bit too far. Map dealer falls so low, and it just falls apart from there. They did not fully commit to what was the best play for them at the time, and that is so unfortunate because they could have forced out a map 5 for sure. The good news is because they were able to stall out so long in that third point, because of those wacky fights that were taken off the cart on the high ground, they still have the timing advantage. They have 34 more seconds, which doesn't feel like a lot, but could give them an extra fight, more than William & Mary will get themselves. So there is, you know, you can take any advantage you can at this point. For them, they need to have a good defense. They need to be able to stall the cart as soon as possible and make sure they give themselves enough time with that attack to really make some movements on the cart.
Yeah, and Jag, something that happened, both of their first point attacks were so blink and you miss it. They both capped that first point after what was essentially a single fight. Hawaii was able to do it faster than William & Mary, and if they can repeat that here, they can set their own win condition for the possibility of success to force that fifth and final map. Things have been close, things have been dangerous, and things have been, may I say, somewhat reckless from both of these teams, and right now, Hawaii, they have to pull their punches low and slow because they want to stall out William & Mary as long as possible. William & Mary, they capped first point just a little bit slower than Hawaii did. Neither team took their time on point number 1.
A lot of damage to XCD after the accretion. That cart did get some progress. We can see, like, they're scared. Like, they do not want to run out, like, and get, like, caught. They're actually going to try to catch someone out themselves, but instead Rival falls in rotation.
Discord Orb, Smile, Rivergone takes Rival out of the equation, making it a 5v4. Only 13 seconds remaining here for William & Mary. They've lost their Bastion. Their Mei is critical condition, and their Ryan gets crazy with it, but it works well. Matt Dealer is going to be pinned into the back line, making it that much harder for the value to be found from the University of Hawaii. William & Mary may get a first point cap off of that elimination. Hawaii, they've got to backpedal hard until that Sigma returns. Oh, he's on Doomfist now. Wait a minute.
Yeah, they're going to try to recontest with the Doomfist here. They should have enough time to at least get the full 5v5. Can the Doomfist do enough? I mean, I've seen members punch off the side. There is an environmental elimination possibility, but the Animatrix coming out from William & Mary to try to sway that.
See ya! There's going to be an obliteration in favor of William & Mary. I said both teams did not take their time on that first point cap, and by golly, did I mean it. They are sticking through, tried and true, domination at its finest. They've capped that first point, and they've continued to push that goal line yards and yards, meters perhaps, further away than the University of Hawaii.
This is so interesting too. They are not playing the cart. They are not putting 3 on it to try to get as much progress as they can. They are taking the high ground. They are taking this part of the map away so that Hawaii can't just spam up on them, and they actually get a kill onto the Sojourn. This is huge. So that risky play to play a bit more aggressive pays off dividends, and you can see Hawaii just has to back off. I can't believe this is working out for them, but William & Mary, they keep finding ways to get it done.
This is exactly what happened last time. William & Mary took first point, and then they never slowed down. They just kept pedal to the metal. They kept their foot on the gas, and it worked out. Matt Dealer's got to go down here. He's out of cooldowns. He has to dive deep into the back line, trying to get the Bastion out of the equation, jumps into a Blizzard, has a Meteor Strike up and out. No eliminations off the back. Going into the relocation, Transcendent comes out from Rivergone as well, and Banana Lumpia able to find Rival within the chaos of this mix-up. Several ultimates used, but somehow the University of Hawaii may have begun to halt this payload in its final moments. The meter has begun to slow. The payload has stopped moving, but as Rivergone has bit the bullet, the pressure is stacked against University of Hawaii once again. Window is open. Akamai brings this overclock out, but it's about to get shut down again, Jag. It is a devastating blow from Hawaii. They get within inches of success, but those inches simply do not matter when the meters continue to move underneath the feet of William & Mary.
We love Global Ultimate Artillery Strike from Spawn. Woo! But Rival does end up falling first, but the fact that they get that ultimate off while their team is still pushing, while they are, you know, safe in their own spawn, actually helps get one elimination. So it does cost quite a pretty penny. William & Mary, they have to use almost everything. They're going for could be a sneaky shatter, and if they're able to find Bolt. Oh, okay. I think the recon bolt caught them. So
a sneaky shatter on Western Ping is such a crazy play from XCD, by the way.
It worked out, but instead they actually might just give their life. They go way too far with this charge. Can they get caught? They do. Oh, that's a big mistake.
That is a fundamental error is what we may call that. That is going to be XCD going down. Nuke Llama is gone. But I'll be honest, Jack, even losing right now, you made the 3rd point with a minute. That's nuts. That's crazy.
It is. With only a minute, that is quite a bit, but I guess the optics to me thinks, what if we got the whole point? What if we got around the corner?
Right.
They had the shatter, so there are ways to make that happen. It might not matter, you know, if they have a good defense, doesn't matter at all. But if it gets down to this 3rd point, there's going to be a lot of going back to that, you know, especially if they end up losing this map. That positioning might be the difference maker. But for now, good vibes only.
Good vibes only.
Yeah, good vibes only. If you're William and Mary, you're still pretty happy with that, like you said. Now it's on Hawaii to try to get something going themselves. You said it yourself before. Both teams had a very good 1st point attack, and Hawaii recreated it just like William and Mary did.
I mean, Hawaii definitely giving us their best Atlas cosplay right now. The weight of the world genuinely on their shoulders, because with 90 seconds to repeat what William and Mary just did is going to be very, very difficult. And while Hawaii was able to make it to that 3rd point with, I think, only 1 lost fight under their belt during the initial portion of this map, I just don't think it's something within a realm of possibility. I think this is going to be a very difficult task for Hawaii against William and Mary. But if we go all the way to map 5, man, I'm having the time of my life already. I really hope we get to that 5th map. I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud. I'd love to see these teams on push because they are so back and forth, and I cannot think of a closer map type for these play styles than a push map. I think it would be so fascinating, but Hawaii's got to do what feels not impossible, but very difficult first.
And Central hates push, so you know, when he says he wants to see teams on push, you know that's how good this matchup is.
No, seriously, I can't stand push, but I feel like these teams, they're so different and they're so unique and their playstyles are so fascinating. I'd love to see them just take it out, duke it out toe-to-toe in a circumstance like this, but Hawaii's got to make the magic happen, and that's not the way to do it. They're looking for an Uno or a Dose, but Liz gets taken in without a trace, and all of a sudden they're down 5v4 and an opportunity where William and Mary are going to be able to stomp out 25% of their time bank already.
Yeah, these puns from you have been on point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Defense for the time being. You could see that Hawaii was trying to split them up. They had some in the room. They had some like farther back, and they're trying to do it again. Maybe they can finally catch someone off guard, and they do. They catch Rival.
They catch Rival. Both Bastions going to be taken offline, while Hawaii does have a spawn advantage. How much is it really going to matter? No way, Max has a window already? The Ant Matrix up. Both lamps come out, and Hawaii, they're high-fiving in spawn right now. They can't do anything.
Yeah, these fire strikes. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about the shatters thus far from XCD, I'm going to be honest. They've been very hit or miss, but these fire strikes have been absolutely incredible. They're
all hit, no miss.
Again. Yeah, for real. And Hawaii now, despite having the better time bank, they are approaching 0 time a lot quicker. That cart has gotten nothing compared to where William and Mary were themselves. Hawaii, it's do or die. They have ultimates to use, but can they use them in the correct order? Can they use at least not enough, like not too many of them to make sure they actually get enough here?
XCD uncontested in the right side right now, boxing the cart in, goes for the pin, gets caught by Accretion, will finally go down. Immortality Field comes out too little too late from Max, who will also go down. River God said, fine, I'll do it myself. The supportal combat comes through, 2 eliminations now on the board, and Hawaii will finally get the wheels a moving and a grooving. Jag, good news, bad news. Good news, it's okay if you're stuck in overtime, just keep the cart moving. Bad news, look at what they're going to be walking into.
It is quite a bit to work with Rival. If they're caught out here, that could be huge, but it looks like they will be alive for this fight, so that's very unlucky for Hawaii that they weren't able to get that final elimination to stall out. Because they're honestly, I think William and Mary just go at this point and move on to the next one.
I agree.
How far they got, but instead they're going to recontest this.
No way!
Artillery strike.
We got the double tap! Whoa! And Rival goes down! This is huge. Grenade Flux goes up. The Blizzard out. It freezes Math Dealer! Math Dealer's not going to be able to find the elimination, and Transcendence almost gets pooped off the cart, but it's going to be able to get back in with the speed advantage with the Dragons covering the cart right now. William and Mary trapped in the corner. Banana Lumpia taken out by an Ant Matrix Icicle. That Baptiste has gone down. It's up to River God to provide very little healing in a team that critically needs it, especially with the damage being done by William and Mary. There's the Shatter. There's 2 down. Goodbye, Akamai, who's just barely alive, but can't stay alive long enough. XCD is gone. Math Dealer has fallen. It's up to nearly 2 players left to touch the card, but nobody is able to make it, and William and Mary will emerge victorious 3-1 on the night. Talk about a frickin' upset.
What a series. Not only the upset,
I'm sweating, dude.
All played out. I mean, again, we go back to map 1. Like, I keep bringing this up, but it seems like map 1, this was going to be a very one-sided affair, and William and Mary, they turned on the Jets from there on out. And even with amazing plays like this from River God, who I think did incredible on the Zenyatta.
Absolute
I gotta
beast.
say, like, I think the Zenyatta actually was a great picture with this poke comp. Not only the damage, but also the Discord orb that helped the rest of the team. But it just wasn't enough. Unfortunately, At the end of the day, I think that they could not outpace this Reinhardt composition. There were some funny moments from Liam and Mary. There were some interesting decisions with alt usage, rotations, positioning. That was a big part of why there was a great capture from Hawaii. They were able to take advantage of those misplays from William and Mary. But at the end of the day, William and Mary just came out stronger. They played more, I would say, quality Overwatch. They were able to execute a bit better. And that's why they were able to walk away with this 3-1 upset win over Hawaii.
What a banger. When I love my job, I love my job, dude. But I'm so stuck because, like, I don't know the next time I'm gonna get a series like that. That was so exciting. That was so riveting. And we're gonna get the chance to talk to Naisu from William and Mary in just a minute here, which I believe is gonna be a great interview. So don't go far, folks. We're gonna get that interview set up. We'll be right back with it in just a couple of minutes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back one more time to EGFC Overwatch Season 5. I'm Septilence, joined by Jag, and if you are just joining us, you missed a banger of a series between William and Mary versus University of Hawaii, but it was William and Mary that played pretty Naisu, and were able to emerge victorious. And speaking of Naisu, who better to talk to than the man of the name himself? So Naisu, how are you doing? First of all, congrats on a huge win.
Yeah, I'm feeling great. That was a very fun game. Shout outs to Hawaii for giving us a real close match. That was like the closest match we've played in a very long time. So I'm just really feeling glad, but more glad that we won.
Definitely, absolutely, definitely more glad that you won. And I do want to ask, something that we talked about a lot here on the desk was Max, of course, swapping over from the tank position, going into playing that main support role, playing that Baptiste very consistently. So is that something we should expect to see from William and Mary more often? Are you guys trying new compositions, or do we think Max might be making a pretty large shift for the team?
Yeah, well, I mean, the real reason why we're playing Max on support is because we're playing XDD on tank.
Right.
Originally, we had XDD on support, and we had Max and Nuklama. Or, sorry, my apologies. We had XDD and Nuklama on support, and XDD on tank. Or Max on tank, my bad. And
We
then,
got you.
And then now we're trying out XZD on tank because he's originally a tank player, just like me. I was originally a tank player. And so we're just experimenting with comps, switching up plays. And I think it went pretty well today. I'm not going to lie.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think we can all agree this looks really, really clean. So you guys might have found that missing piece of the puzzle that's going to help you succeed throughout the rest of the season. I gotta ask though, that first map did not look the most smooth. It was a bit rough. How did you guys kind of keep your mental going forward, especially knowing like how that series went? Like, how is it to like go down 0-1 and then continue to like battle back and then get that 3-1 overall?
Well, I don't want to leak too many strats, but I would say that Ilios is one of the maps that we struggle on a lot, and it clearly showed in today's match. They just ran out on a very powerful Doom Echo comp, and we couldn't do much to counter it. But what we decided was that we're going into Kings Road next map. We're really good at Brawl. We're just going to commit to what we're good at and just go. And that's what we did for the rest of the series. We just said, Ilios, who cares about that map?
Great mentality, and you guys did just go. You just kept running straight into them, and usually we're winning those ones out. I want to go to New Junk City now. That was a map you guys ended up winning, and you started out very hot, but then ended up actually almost getting reverse swept on that map. That last point was utter chaos. You were down 99-0, and you had this crazy fight to bring it back. So I gotta ask, like, what were the comms like during that engagement, and how are you guys able to pull out the victory despite being down 99-0?
Well, I just have to give a special shout out to Max, who absolutely deadlifting us throughout the entirety. There he is, the man himself.
That's my guy. You give this guy some credit, man. This guy's popping off the wall.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was a very chaotic end fight, but Max, he just killed the Rhine before he could shatter, and then after that point, we knew we have these ults. We know exactly how to use them. Let's just do what we know how to do and just go.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, and y'all just knew what you had to do, and by golly, did you get it done. So, Nancy, I do want to ask something kind of interesting. So, you guys are playing against River God from Hawaii today, who's pretty traditionally a Zenyatta player, and I feel like we don't run into Zenyatas very often in a collegiate space like this. River God was pretty good about picking your backline apart. Did you guys felt like you struggled to make any on-the-fly adaptations or different strategies just due to them playing less conventional composition overall?
I mean, I would say we knew what we wanted to do going in. You know, we had a very good strategy. We commit to a lot of brawl because I'm a very good May player, and then we also have a rival who we put onto the team to play Bastion. He's kind of a Bastion specialist. Not gonna lie,
Yeah.
don't tell him that. But but yeah, we knew exactly what we wanted to do going in. We just had to adjust our macro, adjust our alt usage, and just, play the game.
Yeah, I like it a lot and play the game. You guys did, looking absolutely fantastic. So nice to thank you for joining us for the interview, and I cannot wait to see more of you guys this season. Congratulations again.
Thank you for having me on.
And with that, folks, honestly, I don't know if I've ever been actually this sad to end a broadcast. That was so much fun, and now I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my evening. But that is all we have planned tonight. So thank you all so much for coming out and hanging out with us tonight. It's always a blast to be here. Big shout out to both teams for coming out, or all 6 teams we saw today, and giving us some pretty phenomenal series across the board. Huge shout out to TTL, Time to Light in the background, our producer, in-game observer, and just absolute banger guy overall. And of course, all of you for watching. We love each and every one of you. Check your posture, drink some water, don't forget to love each other, and we'll EGFC you tomorrow for CSGO and Valorant.